Hello, tech lovers, and welcome to a very special episode of Cyber Monday. I'm Tia James, and today is not just another deep dive into the world of technology, it's also my final episode as your host. For the past 2 months, we've explored some of the most mind-blowing innovations, had exciting discussions, and most importantly, shared this journey together. So today, we're not just looking at the latest in tech, we're celebrating everything we've covered and the incredible conversations we've had. Let's dive in. As we wrap up this chapter of Cyber Monday, let's take a look at the future. What's next in tech for 2025? We've got AI continuing to push boundaries, foldable and rollable screens becoming mainstream, and space tech taking massive leaps forward. One of the biggest developments, the rise of quantum computing entering commercial use. Let's break it down.
What will be the most important trends in AI in 2025? Well, I'm going to share my own educated guesses. I don't have any kind of top secret classified information or anything, but also this isn't my first rodeo. I did take a shot at predicting AI trends for 2024, and well, I think I did all right. Although, a little confession about that video, I waited until March of 2024 to shoot it, so I already had like a quarter of the year to go on. But that's not the case this time. So let's get cracking with 8 important AI trends in 2025. Let's start with an obvious one. Number 1, agentic AI. Every time we post a video about AI agents to this channel, viewership spikes, so there's clearly an appetite for understanding this tech. So what are AI agents? Well, they're intelligent systems that can reason, they can plan, and they can take action. An AI agent can break down complex problems to create multi-step plans, and it can interact with tools and databases to achieve goals. And I think most people are on board with the utility of a well-performing AI agent. Trouble is, today's models, well, they struggle with consistent logical reasoning. They can usually execute simple plans, but when it comes to handling complex scenarios with multiple variables, they often lose track and they make decisions that don't quite add up. So we'll need better models in 2025. Speaking of which, trend number 2 is inference time compute. Now, during inference, an AI model goes to work on real-time data, comparing the user's query with information processed during training and stored in its weights. Newer AI models are extending inference processing to essentially spend some time thinking before giving you an answer. And the amount of time it spends thinking is variable based on how much reasoning it needs to do. So a simple request that might take a second or two, or something larger and harder might take several minutes. And what makes inference time compute models interesting is the inference reasoning is something that can be tuned and improved without having to train and tweak the underlying model. So there are now two places in the development of an LLM where reasoning can be improved: at training time with better quality training data, but now also at inference time with better chain of thought training, which could ultimately lead to smarter AI agents. All right, trend number 3 is very large models. Large language models consist of many parameters which are refined over the training process. Now, the frontier models in 2024, they're in the range of like 1 to 2 trillion parameters in size. The next generation of models are expected to be many times larger than that, perhaps upwards of 50 trillion parameters. But if 2025 is the year of enormous models, it may also be the year of number 4, very small models. Models that are only a few billion parameters in size. And yet you don't hear the phrase only a few billion very often, but there you go. And these models, they don't need huge data centers loaded with stacks of GPUs to operate. They can run on your laptop or even on your phone. Actually, I have the 2 billion parameter IBM Granite 3 model running on my laptop, and my device doesn't even have to break a sweat to run it. So expect to see more models of this size tuned to complete specific tasks without requiring large compute overhead. Now, do you know what the most common enterprise use cases were for AI in 2024? Well, according to a Harris poll, it's improving customer experience, IT operations and automation, virtual assistants, and cybersecurity. Looking ahead to 2025, we will see more advanced use cases. So think customer service bots that can actually solve complex problems instead of just routing tickets, or think about AI systems that can proactively optimize entire IT networks, or think about security tools that can adapt to new threats in real time. Now, when I first used generative AI back in the day to help me build a beer recipe, the context window for that LLM was a mere 2,000 tokens. Today's models have context windows measured in the hundreds of thousands or even the millions of tokens. We are getting close to number 6, near infinite memory, where chatbots can keep everything they know about us in memory at all times. We'll soon be in the era of customer service chatbots that can recall every conversation it has ever had with us, which hopefully we'll consider a good thing. Okay, trend number 7, that is human-in-the-loop augmentation. Now, perhaps you heard about the study where a chatbot outperformed physicians in clinical reasoning. So 50 doctors were asked to diagnose medical conditions from examining case reports. A chatbot presented with the same cases actually scored higher than the doctors. But where this gets really interesting is some doctors were randomly assigned to use a chatbot to help them in this study. Now, the doctor plus chatbot group also scored lower than when the chatbot was asked to solve the cases alone. And that is a failing of AI and human augmentation. An expert paired with an effective AI system should be smarter together than either of those two entities operating by themselves. But look, prompting LLM chatbots can be hard. You got to tailor the right prompt. You got to ask for things in the right way. So we need better systems that allow professionals to augment AI tools into their workflow without those professionals needing to be experts in how to use AI. So expect more to come in this area. Now, the final trend. In my 2024 trends video, I actually turned this one over to the audience, asking which AI trend do you think will be important in the year ahead? And I'm so glad I did. Hundreds of viewers shared their thoughts. Well, I know when I'm onto a good thing. So trend number 8, that one is over to you. What do you think will be an important AI trend in 2025? Let me know in the comments.
Now, let's take a walk down memory lane. Over the past 2 months, we've covered so many groundbreaking stories, but 2 moments stand out for me. First, our deep dive into AI-powered accessibility technology. Seeing how smart prosthetics and AI-driven hearing aids are transforming lives was truly inspiring. And of course, who could forget our Tech Tickle segment featuring the weirdest gadgets, like the smart plant pot that sings when it needs water? That one still makes me laugh.
Chances are you've played a game or read a cyberpunk novel that's featured characters with super awesome bionic body parts at some point. Jax from Mortal Kombat, Adam Jensen from Deus Ex, or Barrett Wallace from Final Fantasy, just to name a few. And the idea of powered artificial limbs that work just as well as real ones or even better has long been a mainstay in fiction. But could we be getting close to making this a reality for people who have been unlucky enough to lose an arm or a leg? If so, it'll have been a long time coming. False limbs and digits made from materials such as wood, iron, and leather have been in use for millennia, everywhere from ancient Egypt to the Roman Republic to the high seas of the 16th century, where peg legs were famously used by pirates. But even though prosthetics have been around a long time, for the vast majority of their history, they didn't provide much functionality other than aesthetics, except for artificial legs that would at least allow a person to stand. And while various people over the centuries have created designs to make prosthetics more functional, such as rudimentary joints at the knees, the biggest advancements have been made in the past few decades. Modern manufacturing processes have allowed the production of artificial limbs that often look like the real deal and also seriously improve the quality of life for the people who use them. And computer-aided design has enabled precise measurement and modeling of prosthetic body parts customized for each patient, as well as the manufacture of high-quality joints and moving parts modeled closely after their natural counterparts. Additionally, materials like silicone and polyvinyl carbonate have been used for artificial skin and hair so that prosthetics don't have to look like or feel like cold hunks of metal or plastic. But how do patients actually control these things? Many prosthetics work with mechanical systems powered by the user's own body. For example, artificial hands that can open and shut thanks to a cable system that can be operated with simple gestures, such as moving a shoulder. Other prosthetics use myoelectrics, the electrical impulses that contract your muscles. So you'll have electrodes that are attached to the same place as the prosthetic that can pick up these impulses and send them to the artificial limb, which then moves according to what the patient wants it to do. But the real excitement in the field surrounds prosthetics that are controlled completely by thought, the same way you'd control an original body part. In recent years, scientists have developed sensors that can be directly implanted beneath the skin and that interface with the nerves, so that when the brain sends an impulse to your arm that says, hey, pick up that can of soda, the sensor can send that impulse to a processor which will direct the limb to follow your brain's orders. Cool, right? We're even seeing this technology take a step further with sensors embedded in prosthetic hands to send signals to the brain and restore a patient's sense of touch, just like Luke Skywalker in The Empire Strikes Back. And this new generation of smart prosthetics doesn't stop at artificial limbs. People who suffer from impaired vision may have more options in the future, as eye implants that project images directly onto the retina could help patients that have suffered physical trauma, and implants that make contact with the brain hooked up to a small camera could bypass the eye entirely and provide your brain's vision center with images from the outside world. Just don't expect anything that will let you see through walls anytime soon, unless, of course, you're the NSA. Speaking of walls, let's break down some barriers here with FreshBooks. And when I talk barriers that FreshBooks can break down, I'm not talking walls, I'm talking business barriers. FreshBooks is on a mission to make freelancers and small business owners less stressed and more organized with their easy-to-use tools for crafting and sending professional invoices in seconds. It also helps you track your hours so you know exactly what to put on that invoice when the time comes, what you did, when you did it, and who you did it for. You can even accept deposits through their platform, so your work is paid for on your schedule. Speaking of getting paid for, your customers can pay through the app with their credit card, and you can get a confirmation when you know that they've received it, making the billing process that much simpler. Getting started on FreshBooks is extremely simple, even if you're not a numbers person, actually especially if you're not a numbers person, and you can try FreshBooks free for 30 days by going to freshbooks.com/techquickie and entering TechQuickie in the How Did You Hear About Us section. So thanks for watching, guys. If you liked this video, hit the like button. If you disliked it, well, there's the other button there for you, unless you're watching on Vessel, in which case it's not there. Also, check out our other channels. We've got a great video up on Channel Superfun with us jousting on swagways, so don't miss that. Leave a comment if you have video suggestions for future Fastest Possibles, and as always, subscribe/follow for more videos just like this one.
Technology isn't just about innovation, it's about connection. Over the past months, we've explored how tech is helping people with disabilities, creating smarter cities, and even changing the way we interact online. One of my favorite discussions was about how VR and the metaverse are revolutionizing communication. Let's take a look at some of the most exciting developments in digital connection.
Communication has changed dramatically in the 21st century. Just a few decades ago, we only had rabbit ears and snail mail, but now we have instant text messages and high-quality video calls. The future will undeniably bring plenty of new products that'll transform how we communicate with one another. So today, we'll be looking at the future of virtual communication and how it'll change our lives, for better or for worse. Before we start though, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe to InZu Tech, and hit the bell icon for notifications. Now, without further ado, let's begin. The case of virtual reality. There's been a lot of talk about virtual reality, or VR, in recent years, but what exactly is it? Well, there's a hint in the name virtual. With VR, you experience a world that doesn't actually exist. We're not talking about getting pulled into the plot of a book you're reading, but rather a reality created by computers that lets you explore and interact with a 3D environment that isn't real, but virtual. Here you wear a headset and the display is split between your eyes, resulting in a stereoscopic 3D effect, which, when combined with motion tracking technology and surround sound, will create a virtually immersive and believable storytelling experience. Virtual reality is usually associated with video games, maybe because the most popular VR headsets today are designed for gamers, or perhaps because gaming is the most appealing entertainment industry to exhibit this technology. But remember what Mark Zuckerberg said at the debut of Oculus VR: there will be a lot more in VR than just games. This is just the start. After games, we're going to make Oculus a platform for many other experiences. Imagine enjoying a courtside seat at a game, studying in a classroom of students and teachers all over the world, or consulting with a doctor face to face, just by putting on goggles in your home, wrote Zuckerberg. The use case. Virtual reality is already being used to create immersive and realistic content in a variety of sectors, such as healthcare, transportation, and tourism. We can easily see a future where the lines between the real world and the virtual world can blur and immerse all of us in new technological experiences. VR's power to revolutionize the way we communicate is particularly interesting. The possibility of VR calls will not only revolutionize the way the world shares information on a consumer-to-consumer basis, but also change the way our businesses operate. Imagine sitting in a room with professionals from all over the world and conducting business meetings without ever leaving your bedroom. You can present new ideas in 360 degrees while collecting creative feedback and making changes simultaneously seamlessly with everyone else in the meeting on the spot. Additionally, virtual reality's immersive storytelling is the solution for new brands looking to transform their business in real time, as immersive virtual reality media fosters closer relationships through conversation. Think about working in a virtual room with your company's senior executives to discuss business issues. Virtual reality conferences will allow employees to feel more connected to the brand they work for. Its great storytelling style will help in the bonding and exchange of ideas between colleagues. Learning with VR has a big potential to develop in the future too. VR's capabilities are able to extend beyond just learning and into the realm of personal enhancement. VR can be used for job training in preparation for real-world activities. Doing this gives students a very practical way of studying, and in many cases it's better than actually doing the activity because it saves money that would have otherwise been spent on equipment or tools, and in jobs that are associated with some kind of danger, students are able to practice over and over again without getting hurt because their practice environment is purely digital and not the real thing. Also, VR conferences can be held during family reunions or other similar events, as VR is said to be less frightening than traditional video gatherings. Members tend to feel more liberated to contribute innovative ideas and create lasting conversations as a result of their new digital image. VR can also be used outside of conferencing purposes, and as you'll soon discover, VR videos have plenty to offer. Tricks used in ordinary videos may take on a whole new life altogether in VR. YouTube, for instance, already lets users upload VR videos, but once more and more people get hold of VR headsets, the possibilities are endless, and companies and content creators alike should take advantage of this in order to build valuable relationships with their customers and create a more positive experience. The marketing world will change as soon as VR becomes accessible and available to anyone. 360 degrees videos can captivate people in an almost magical interactive experience, resulting in a much deeper connection with the brand than the traditional 2D videos we use today. However, the truth is that VR content is still in its infancy. Audible signals, visual cues, and camera orientation are all still being tested, but once an industry standard is established, VR will become the norm, and 360-degree immersion will take shape. The pandemic has compelled all of us to work remotely, and it's about time we all began studying and understanding VR to give the technology a boost on its path to mass adoption. Big companies joining in. Walmart intends to adopt VR technology for employee training, and the company says that VR gets more viewing retention than normal video or paper training. Other than that, Google's Daydream VR department is currently working on designing a virtual coffee machine to assist baristas in comprehending the nitty-gritty of their jobs without getting their hands dirty. Virtual reality's immersive nature has shown to be invaluable in fostering remote conversations amongst business specialists, and it's already found remarkable success on platforms such as Skype and FaceTime. Therefore, VR conferencing and content creation are poised to transform not just VR technology, but technology as a whole. Outerspace VR is one company that wants to make these VR chat meetups a regular part of everyday life. They're pushing VR technology in Skype meetings with their companion software for smartphones, but it's more focused on shared action than unadulterated dialogue, with the option to meet in settings such as game rooms, labyrinths, or virtual exhibitions. However, as a relatively new technology, virtual reality still has a long way to go, and it still requires many years of testing. This indicates that virtual reality will advance significantly in the near future. Exploring a whole new virtual world is a different kind of excitement for thousands of VR creators, game designers, filmmakers, and coders. Whether you use VR or not, the next few years will surely be crucial in determining the future of virtual reality. Realms of mixed reality. We're only now beginning to see what the future of mixed reality work may bring. Before 2020, nobody could have ever predicted that we'd be working from home on such a large scale, but nonetheless, nearly every significant organization and workplace we interact with today requires better technology to make virtual working easier and more effective in the long run. This'll drive the next wave of mixed reality, with solutions such as artificial intelligence tools that can create optimal rotations of shifts and designations, smart boards and large multi-monitor displays that can put virtual collaboration on larger screens, and affordable 3D printers that'll allow design teams to physically test prototypes all over the world from the comfort of their home offices. Like the grainy Skype calls of 2010, which preceded today's Zoom explosion, mixed reality technologies that are gaining traction now will almost certainly be eclipsed in the near future. In 10 years, we'll look at today's virtual office and collaboration tools with the same look we currently have for crackly phone calls. Do you think VR is the future of virtual communication? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed the video, be sure to hit the like button. Also, subscribe to InZuTech if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we upload more content. Anyway, that's all for this video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
And just like that, we've reached the end of today's episode and my journey here as your host of Cyber Monday. I want to take a moment to say thank you to everyone who has tuned in, engaged, and shared your love for technology with us. This show wouldn't be the same without you. Hosting Cyber Monday has been an incredible experience, and I'm so grateful for every conversation, every moment of discovery, and every laugh we've shared. Tech is always evolving, and so is life, but one thing stays constant: our curiosity and excitement for what's next. So as I sign off for the last time, I encourage you to keep exploring, keep questioning, and most of all, stay curious. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being part of this journey. This is Tia James, signing off one last time. Until we meet again, stay innovative, stay inspired, and I'll see you in the future.